Welcome, everyone. I'm Mike Mershazadeh.
And I'm Ashley Ward.
And you're listening to the What Matters podcast, and our mission
to spotlight top RIAs, wealth managers, and investment professionals who are redefining wealth management.
Join us as we dive into their journey, strategies, and insights.
Whether you're an investor or an inspiring pro, this is for you.
Get ready for impactful conversations on the What Matters podcast. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the What Matters podcast. I'm Mike Mershazadeh.
And I'm Ashley Ward.
And today we have the privilege of speaking with Brian Allen, the founder, chairman, and CEO of Pension Consultants, a leading independent plan advising firm known for its excellence in managing employer-sponsored retirement plans based in Springfield, Missouri.
Brian is a titan in the world of plan advising and wealth management. With over 30 years of experience and a track record of success, Plan Advisor has consistently listed Pension Consultants on their top 100 list for many years, and Pension Consultants was named twice a finalist for Plan Advisors of the Year by Plan Sponsor. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited to have you with us today. Let's jump right in. You've had an impressive career spanning over 3 decades in plan advising industry. Can you walk us through your journey from the early days to founding Pension Consultants in 1994?
I entered the industry in January of 1990, got my Series 7 license, and went to work as an independent contractor for IDS at the time, and worked there for about a couple of years, and then went to an independent advisor here in town for a couple of years, and then started this firm in 1994.
Really cool. So can you walk us through your voyage at Pension Consultants? You guys have grown your AUM to quite a large number there. I don't always take a look at what we read because it's fairly inaccurate. It says around $3.5 billion that you guys have grown the AUM to. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How have you guys been able to grow the company? Did you do it more organically, inorganically? Please share.
No, it's been all organically, and the good news is, Mike, we're about $4.5 billion now. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we've done it organically over those 30 years, just a little bit at a time. Compounding works, I guess.
What would you say the average growth, if you take it the CAGR through the 30 years, the average growth has been per year?
I don't know exactly the number. Early on, it was fairly dramatic growth. It seemed like for many years we would have 30% growth, and the next year it'd be 10%, and then the next year it'd be 40% growth, and the next year it'd be 10. There were many years like that. Now that we're the size we are now, it's more steady growth. We're looking for upper single digit to low double digit growth is what we're looking for now.
I like that. And how many total advisors do you guys have at the organization?
Well, that's a good question, and I get that question quite a bit. We're very unusual in that regard, in that we don't have different advisors working their own book. It's all one book, and it's all Pension Consultants. So me and another gentleman own the business, and all of the business is done through us. But we have a number of employees that specialize in different areas that are experts in what they do.
Really cool. How many total teammates have you guys grown to at this point?
21.
Wow.
So when you and your co-founder, when you guys both started this, was it just you two? Did you have an initial team of a few people? Tell us how you got from where you were when you first founded it to now 30 years later.
Yeah, the gentleman that's my partner now, he joined me 1 year to the day after we started. And then, yes, he and I just slowly began to work it until we got large enough that we needed another employee, and then so on and so forth. And we've refined the business over time, obviously. But it's not been one big jump or 2 big jumps. It's just been a little bit here and there.
Fascinating. And so, Brian, along your entrepreneurial journey, what are some of the most valuable lessons you've learned? Any insights to help aspiring plan advisors, wealth managers navigate challenges when building a firm or founding one, and how can they do that and seize opportunities?
There's not anything really special about me. I share so many experiences with so many other people. We all make a ton of mistakes, and there is some wisdom in the more mistakes you make, the more you're able to learn, and you have to have a certain level of willingness, confidence. Nothing beats confidence when you're in your 20s or early 30s, right? So some of that confidence from early in life maybe allows you to take some risks that you wouldn't take as you get older. And then that allows you to make mistakes and learn from those. I'd say one thing that's been true to me and my partner is that we're very well grounded in the values that we want in a business. We've stayed true to those the whole time. So I think that's some wisdom to pass on to somebody younger, is try to articulate, try to even write down what values you have, what values you want your business to represent. And you can experiment with all kinds of different things, but always stay true to those values.
And can you share some of those values with us that you and your partner have at Pension Consultants?
Yes, we summarize them in do it right and do the right thing. And do it right just means really pay attention to the details. Do it right means come from the right heart, have the right heart, make sure that you're trying to serve the people that you're trying to serve, and to the extent humanly possible, subjugate your own preferences for the client's preferences, your own needs for the client's needs.
I like that. So shifting gears a bit, let's talk about your book. You're an author. You wrote the book, Rewarding Retirement: How Fiduciary Committees Can Elevate Workers, Companies, and Communities. What inspired you to write this book? And can you tell us a little bit about the book?
I can. Thanks for asking. I wrote the book because I wanted to memorialize the approach that we take to managing retirement plans. And I wanted to lay out kind of a path, not only for potential clients or those people that are responsible for managing retirement plans might have. I also wanted to lay out a path for my employees and my future employees and the future leaders of this business, and kind of articulate why we do things the way we do them, and what the benefits of that are.
Very cool. And so you mentioned the future leaders of your firm. Do you and your partner, do you have a succession plan in place there? Can you tell us a little bit about, how you move your employees along? Is there a growth strategy for your employees to one day take over the business?
My son works for me. He's been in the business now probably for nearly 10 years. So he will eventually run the firm. But at different times, there was about a 5-year span where another member of our team, Cody Mendenhall, ran the business. He ran the business for 5 years, and I was able to step back and take a less active day-to-day role. I'm back running the day-to-day now, and we'll bridge it eventually to my son.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, and how's that been having your son work there with you? Did he?
Awesome. Totally awesome. Yeah.
Was he always wanting to join the family business?
Or not at all. No, not in the slightest. But it's funny, as a dad, you kind of know your kids maybe a little bit better than they know themselves at different points in time. I really thought this would be something he would enjoy and like, but you have to be patient with that, kind of let them take their own path. And he's found his way to it. Now he loves it. And it's wonderful because not only do I get to see him every day, but we share something in common that we have a passion for. So that's great.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, look, my dad owned gas stations. So, the G2 to taking over Texaco gas stations wasn't, in my opinion, nearly as sexy as the RIA business. I told Ashley this the other day. Had I would have done it all over again, I would have gotten in this industry in my early 20s.
Yeah.
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 So let me ask you this. As chairman of the board of PCI, your leadership is undoubtedly a driving force behind the firm's success. Can you elaborate on your unique leadership philosophy and how it's guided you in navigating challenges and driving innovation within the RIA industry?
Mm, um, well, it doesn't take very long in any business to realize it's really not all about you. That you kind of get it started. Maybe you push it, but then you're dependent upon all the other people to carry it along, right? So I think leadership really shifts from um, building those early things, and then you're now an encourager of other people to build upon those things. So I see my job as twofold. One is to set the direction, make sure we stay true to those values, and then the other thing is to really help the people that are here do a good job at what they do. And so to encourage them and then to give them what they need to be successful. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And what do you see as the future for your company? What do you and your partner see there? 3 to 5 years out. You'd mentioned your son taking over at some point down the road. Where do you see the growth of the organization going, and the future of the organization?
I really do see it accelerating. I see our growth accelerating. We've got some great things in place, and we're building upon those. And so I think we have a good opportunity for sales in the future. So I think our growth rate is going to accelerate the next 3 to 5 years.
Can you explain the good opportunity for sales? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So we have two different tracks that we service. One is the plan sponsor community, and our typical client is an employer that's a good sized employer in their community. Our average client employs about 1,000 people, and those particular clients, as you can imagine, they have a very slow buy cycle. So the sales and marketing has to match that tempo, and it's takes an investment to wait on that and be prepared for it when it happens. And I feel very good about our pipeline. I feel very good about our marketing, and I feel good about our sales. So that's that side of it. On the other side, we work with individuals. We are those clients of ours employ right now about 75,000 people, and one of the teams here. We call them the retire advisors. They meet with the individual employees and help them on their retirement planning journey. And in the first quarter of 2024 alone, we're gonna have talked to about 1,000 of those 75,000 people. Well, a subset of those people need additional help. And if they need additional help, and if everything works out right between what they want and what we provide, and it's in their best interest, then we'll help them as well. So we have a tremendous opportunity there as well.
Thank you.
And you mentioned your marketing. What kind of marketing is your firm focused on right now? There's a lot of, with our guests, we speak to a lot of the push to do more social media marketing, more outside marketing like that. Is there any initiatives right now in place for your team?
Yeah, so we have quarterly initiatives. So we select a topic each quarter that we believe will resonate and be timely with our audience. And then once we decide upon that topic, we push that out over the course of a quarter in several different ways, social media being one, content writing through blogs another way. We do a webinar once a quarter. So once we decide upon a topic, we really kind of build that topic out, and then we slice it up and offer it in many different ways.
Very cool. And looking ahead, what do you envision for the future of this industry, the retirement planning? Any trends, technologies, strategies you think will shape the future of the industry in the coming years?
Yes, I do. Quite a few. One, on the fee side. So I think fees are likely to continue to come down as consumers become consumers of what I do, and then consumers in the entire world in all different types of industries are becoming more aware of value. And so they're more demanding of value for what they pay. So when I started in the industry back in the 90s, you could provide little value and make a very good income. Those days are dwindling. And so I think to have a good value proposition and to be able to demonstrate value, not just one time, but over and over again to your clients, I think that's one massive trend. I think that shows up through transparency and accountability. That's ultimately what consumers want. They want transparency. What am I getting? What am I paying for? And then they want to know if they're if you're providing a service to them, they want to know that, hey, I'm accountable for that service to you. And I don't care if that's somebody doing construction at your house, somebody doing your taxes, or somebody providing plan advice or investment advice. And so those are the major trends that I think are in place and are likely to be in place for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I think investment advisors need to get right with that.
Mm-hmm.
The other trend I see is conflicts of interest. I see the ability to have conflicts of interest shrinking because, again, consumers are becoming aware of.
And give us your opinion on artificial intelligence. We see it shaping so many industries out there. What do you feel is the future of AI? From an equity from equities standpoint. From how it's going to play into the RIA space and how it's going to play in your company in particular.
So I don't have any AI initiatives currently, but yeah, I suspect if what I'm being told is correct, that it's going to be transformative in the same way the internet's transformative. But I don't have all that clear in my head. I can imagine it starts with marketing and content, right? GPT already can write blogs and things for you, right? So it'll probably start there. We're not utilizing it, but I imagine we might at some point in the future. I can also imagine we do manager selection for the 401k investment lineups that we offer. And that begins with screens of different managers in asset classes. I can imagine AI will simplify that task dramatically going forward. Those are two areas. I on the personal side, I could see it doing managing portfolios, keeping you balanced. Yeah, I'm sure it's more than I can imagine right now.
Cool.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned doing things to set your firm apart, consistency, accountability and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
What is Pension Consultants doing to really set your firm apart in the industry? There's so many different firms that I'm sure your clients could go to. What is your firm doing to really set yourself apart?
So our mission is to improve the financial security of the American workforce. That's a high-minded goal. And how we do that is we get individual participants on track for retirement. So if we manage a company's 401k plan, what we tell that company is we're here to get your employees on track for retirement. When we do that, they become more financially secure. So financial security is tied to savings. Retirement savings is one key component of savings. If we can increase the savings contributions of your employees, that will make them more secure. They will be a better workforce for you. So that's what we do. So everything we do is directed at that. So the first thing that sets us apart is we have clarity of mission and clarity of outcomes. The second thing is we define those outcomes up front. So there's three areas that we manage for our companies. The first is the contribution level or the savings levels of the employees themselves. Number two is the investment performance of the lineup that we manage for the company. And number three is the fees that are paid by that plan for the administration and investment of that plan. We define upfront for each client, we will perform at this level for those three things. And if we don't perform at that level, we reduce our fee. So we have complete transparency. We report quarterly on our performance relative to those, what we call performance standards. And then we even tie our fee to it.
I like that.
So, yeah, I like that. I like that too. It's kind of, put your money where your mouth is on that one.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Good for you guys. And so given your expertise, what is your outlook for the economy, both in near term and long term? We've had so much that has gone on with the debt over these last couple of years and the interest rates. How do you believe economic trends and market conditions will impact retirement planning strategies? And, what's your advice would you offer to fiduciary plan committee members navigating, through these uncertainties?
Understand the question. That's a good question. I don't have a great answer for you. So we don't offer economic forecasting or anything like that to our clients. It's a very frequent question, and we need to be prepared for it. But I'll tell you that I'm one market participant of several hundred million market participants. My opinion doesn't necessarily matter any more than everybody else's. I do have my own personal opinion. My own personal opinion is that we're a little divorced from reality in the market right now. I think the debt levels we have as a government, individually, I think are high. I don't think it's sustainable. Typically, when you borrow, you're borrowing today and you're sacrificing your future. I think that's a reality. I also think some of the things that are happening internationally are a little concerning. And so I think we may be at greater risk for conflict than we've been in the last, say, 30 or 40 years. So I put those two things together, and to me, it tells me we ought to be at lower multiples, not higher multiples in the market. Hopefully everything works out well and it justifies the higher multiples, but I personally am a little concerned about that.
Well, let me ask you this. Going back to a previous podcast that we had done, one of our speakers' insights on the market was that we had taken out that we took out a majority of all that debt at such a low interest rate. What's your opinion on that?
If we're talking about the government's debt, most of that debt was financed with short-term paper. So while they did borrow at low rates, most of that was financed over 1 and 3 year periods of time. So we didn't finance it over 20 or 30. So that's going to re-up, and we're going to have to refinance at higher rates now. Understood.
Yeah. I had thought the same thing. I'm glad you highlighted on that, because I took that piece away, and it was a point of argument or debate, I should say, that I had with a few people. But I think your thought on that was exactly mine as well.
No.
So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate your answers today.
You bet, of course.
And before we wrap up, I want to ask you, can you shed light on any specific sectors or investment that you find particularly exciting right now?
Actually, what we spend our time on the investment side is what we call manager selection. So we have 13 asset classes that are offered to all of the participants of all the plans we manage. And we are what's called a 338 manager. So we take discretion over those investment lineups for all of our clients. And so therefore, all of those clients have the same 13 asset classes: small value, small growth, and the list goes on and on. What we do is try to find active managers that can outperform their relative benchmark index for those 13 asset classes. So as a result, we're constantly looking at managers themselves. That's the business we do. That's the work we do. We don't do individual security selection. And so I'm not looking at individual companies. I look at certain things myself, like we all do, but not professionally.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. That concludes another insightful episode of the What Matters podcast. Brian, thank you again for joining the show with us today, sharing your insights and your expertise with us and our listeners. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Where can our listeners check out your book? Tell us where they can find that.
They can find it on Amazon, be the best place to go to find the book, or they could check us out at pension-consultants.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Brian. We really appreciate it. And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the What Matters podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more insightful conversations with industry leaders like Brian Allen. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.